Hey girl, hey.
Hey boo.
So this is a time to start with a toast to a brand new venture that you encouraged and helped me to start, to Re-Writing Midlife.
Re-Writing Midlife.
Okay girl, so we have a lot to talk about today. This is the very first podcast and I couldn't think of one other person that I would rather have to kick this off than the one and only Carmen Calhoun. For those of you who don't know, Carmen Calhoun is a singer-songwriter, an author, a breathwork facilitator, and she probably has 10 other things that I've forgotten. But she does so much, and her voice is so important, so impactful. She's been a huge inspiration in my life, someone who's really made me progress, pushed me, and challenged me to try new things like this podcast.
Like this podcast.
And we've had some issues with tech and stuff, but we're pushing through. We're going to make it happen.
Pushing her through.
So we're talking about today the importance of friendships in this season of life. And you and I, we have a long history together. We have a friendship over 20 years. And Carmen's the reason that I actually started recording my music. She's the reason that, I don't know, probably so many things that I've done that I've lost track of now. That I've done because Carmen said, you need to do it. You can do it. She believed in me. And, you know, we lost touch for a while, but a couple of birthdays ago, you decided to come visit. And some really cool things happened as a result of that. So many things that we have to take it one at a time. But let's talk about the friendships that developed as a result of that reconnection.
So we did breath work. And it was your vision during breath work that Becky brought all these beautiful women together, women with their husbands. And it has been a beautiful experience ever since then. Like, it's been full speed ahead with loving these beautiful women. And we don't skip any beats either.
I know for me, Carmen, like some people in my life I thought would stick with me through the thick and thin, and they sort of fell off in my life. And then other people I've thought, well, they'll be my friends forever. And some friendships that I thought would stick haven't, and some that came into my life as a surprise have really stuck around. And then I think one of the biggest surprises is that some of my closest relationships I've made recently. So why do you think it's so important at this season of life to have really, like, not just good friends, but like those kindred spirits kind of friends?
I think it's several things. One, it takes intentionality. But as we get older and people go in their respective ways, I feel as though you get lonely. If I could be so honest, you get lonely and you want friendship, you want companionship. And it's one thing to have a husband. It is a whole different thing to have girlfriends, and I'm single, you're married. But even in that relationship, I respect your marriage so much, right? I am a Bible girl, and I respect her union, her time with her family, and we just have such camaraderie. So I think boundaries, even if they're not spoken, because we've never had that relationship, I've never demanded more of you to be with me because I know you have a family. And so I think those internal things have to be put in perspective. But we were together for Jody's birthday. And when I sent a picture to my daughter, she texts back and she says, "Mom, I'm so glad you found your tribe." Because even moving here from Washington, D.C., almost 2 months ago, I came here, one, for friendship and support because my friends were here. Even though I felt
which says a lot because
Lord.
You were in D.C. for your whole life.
Yeah.
You grew up there. I mean, not in D.C. proper, but you grew up in that area. So don't you think also, I just think we get to a point where we're just tired. Like we're just done with the BS. We're done with masks. We're done with pretending. Like it's just too much work to keep up a relationship that's not genuine, that's not someone who knows me at my worst like you do. Like, you've seen me on my irritated days, on my, we're both in the we don't care club at this point, right?
Absolutely.
We just
I mean, I can fart in front of you, open the bathroom and say, Becky! So it's just being real.
Right. So I think that's why it's like we're yearning at this phase of life, probably every phase, honestly, just to have people that we don't have to pretend with, that we can just be our bare bones self. And I think there's something special about the group of women that have collected around us, in the sense that I think they've also been through a lot. And there's something about women in midlife who have been through things, who have overcome things, who walked through some deep waters, that it's very easy to connect with them. It's like they're not going to like place expectations on you that you, God, I feel like that's such a huge friendship killer. Numero uno is expectation.
Expectations.
Right? It's like, why didn't you call me? Or where have you been? Or, I haven't heard from you. Things like that, where you just feel like there's this pressure.
Right.
That I can't just, I can't just call you and we pick up right where we left off, and there's no guilt tripping or, all that yucky stuff that can happen between women.
Absolutely. We don't have time for that. But also, we've learned the value of correction. And when I say that, I mean, you all have called me on my S. You know what I mean? And I didn't take it personal. Like, these women love me. And I'm like...
Right, but I think that's the thing. Like, I think you have to have that foundation of love before you bring... Like, again, like, you have to earn a place to speak truth into people's lives. I think as Christians, sometimes sometimes we don't take the time to earn that, and then we just want to drop a truth bomb, and people are like, well, who are you? Like, you haven't spent time with me. You don't know my life. So, and that happens a lot with social media, like people just feel anonymous. They can just sort of drop these bombs, and it's like, I think you have to earn that trust with somebody before you can really speak into their lives.
You know what? That goes back to the soil that we were having a conversation about earlier, because when it is the truth, but depending on where that person is in their life, are they stoning? Is that, where they are emotionally, what their perspective, might not be able to hear the truth that you say, even though it's truth, because their soil, their
heart isn't ready for it.
Not in the right place.
Yeah. So Carmen, you recently came out with a book called Shipwreck. Throw that shit overboard.
Yes.
And SHIT is an acronym. SHIT stands for
shame, hurt, insecurity, and trouble.
And one of the things I so admire about you is I feel like, when you read your book, you realize that Carmen has been through a lot. Like, she had kind of a difficult childhood, difficult situation at home, and then 3 marriages, some domestic abuse. You've suffered your share of trials and traumas. But I feel like what's really special about you is of the way that you've been willing to sort of look at that, reflect on it, and be honest about, like, I needed to throw some stuff over, like, I needed to throw some of this stuff. I was stuck in some areas.
Absolutely.
And tell me, was that the impetus for writing the book? Was just feeling like, okay, if I'm stuck, maybe there's some other people that are stuck, and I need to get this message out.
Absolutely. But it started with a dream. And in that dream, so y'all, I'm very, very forthcoming. And I was sitting on the toilet, and that bathroom was bigger than big. And someone was standing beside me. I come from a family where everyone was in the bathroom at the same time. I don't care what we were doing. And so the door was open, and I needed some toilet tissue. And I'm yelling, I need some toilet tissue. And so what appeared was shit stains on this toilet tissue from the door that was open. And I was like, ew, that's nasty. But I found myself using the toilet tissue. This isn't a dream. I was using the toilet tissue, and I woke up immediately, and I asked Papa, what is that? And God said, you have a trail of shit following behind you, and you don't smell it. I was like, did you say shit? I called all my friends. I was like, you're God. You can't say shit. And none of them really believed me. They knew I had dreams, and they were vivid, but I began to look up the origin of the word shit. And long story short, it said that it was an urban legend, but I felt led of the Holy Spirit to continue to read. Back in the day, they used to transport manure via a ship. And during the transport, manure and seawater, it would produce methane gas. So the sailor would take the lantern and go and check on the cargo, and the ships would explode. Once they realized what was going on, they labeled the ship a ship high in transit. And so I'm asking Papa, I was like, wait a minute, am I the ship full of shit? I was like, what are you trying to tell me? He was like, you're full of shame, hurt, insecurity, and trouble. You're no longer seated in the bosom of your parents, but you're seated with Christ in heavenly places. Get rid of it. I was like, oh my God. And I mean, first of all, I had to get past the fact that I heard God say shit and to throw it overboard. And I really didn't have to pray. I was willing. I thought it was just like, okay, I'm just going to throw it overboard. But it took me 10 years to write that book.
So you like to talk about this idea of spiritual bypass.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about what that means?
So I facilitate breath work. And even in life, people want to spiritually bypass. You ask them how they doing. Oh, praise the Lord, I'm doing fine. But you're not doing fine. And so we spiritualize it. Oh, the Lord is blessing me. Yes, he is. But let's stay here on earth. How you doing? How you feeling? And if you mad, you say you're mad. If you are having a hard time, I'm having a hard time. But people spiritually bypass by putting or wrapping Jesus over everything, and they're not really enjoying the human experience. And we can enjoy this human experience even while going through.
I think I was telling you that a couple of years ago, like over the summer, I was kind of led to take a little sabbatical of sorts and kind of took a break from a lot of the things I was doing. I was grieving some things. And I remember feeling like I heard this voice say, just because you're a believer doesn't mean you get a pass from grieving. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think as believers, we're like, well, I'm fine. Like I have God, like I have faith. Mm-hmm. So I'm fine. Like I have forgiven. It's in the past. And so we say these things, but actually we haven't forgiven and we haven't moved on. We're still stuck because we haven't allowed ourselves to be human. Like you said, the human experience. We haven't allowed ourselves to really feel the weight of what's happened as a human being. And yes, God helps us to heal and move forward, but like even Jesus wept, like even Jesus grieved.
Absolutely.
And I think, we can't just expect to get a kitchen pass from all those human experiences because we believe. Mm-hmm. And, forgiveness is an onion. It's like it's layers. And, like you said, you were like, oh, I just need to throw some stuff overboard. 10 years later.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you wouldn't have wanted to know that part. No. Right? You're like, oh, yeah, I'll just throw, we all just kind of want to and move on. And I'm speaking for myself. That's me. I want to be like, oh, that's behind me now. I'm good. And so I think, and part of what breath work is about listening to your body in the ways that our bodies can become receptacles of old pain and wounds. And, in the West, I think there's certain things that we accept. We think therapy's great, and it is. These things are great, medication, seeing a doctor. But sometimes we don't realize that, the migraines we're having or the pains in our hips or the pains in our back are because of old trauma that has been undealt with. And so Carmen introduced me to breathwork a couple of years ago, and it's just really been a transformative experience for me. Carmen, tell me a little bit about the breath and why it's so powerful. Something so simple.
He says he'll use the simple things to confound the wise, and he has. I tell people that breath is the signature of God from Genesis to right now. And the breath helps you to unclench. It helps you to relax. It helps you to gain clarity. It animates us, right? And most of us are just in survival mode. But when you take deep breaths, even during meditation, it's a clearing that happens. And one of my favorite things is doing breath work for myself is the visions. And what I've found out, it's the word of God, where we're made in the image of God. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We are body, soul, and spirit. And so the thing that we have in common as we mirror the Trinity is breath. And he breathed breath in us and we exhale. And it's this centrifugal force. And breath is the divine part of us. And it flows through. It's the one thing that we share effortlessly. You don't even have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, I was really, Carmen introduced me to breath work in my living room. We were having a great day. You came to visit. We were just high on life.
Yeah.
High on life. We were just having a great time. And she was like, I want you to try breath work. So, I was on my living room floor and just went into it with a great mood. And while I was in there, I discovered that I had this old wound in me from age 11. And I was not at all expecting to encounter that. But as I've done breath work with her in group settings, I'm amazed over and over when I see other women having the same experience. I mean, their experiences are always different, but they're similar in the sense that they encounter some things inside their bodies that are so they didn't know they were there. It's almost like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. It's really can be surprising and somewhat shocking.
Very triggering.
Yeah, what happens in there? Tell me the story about your back and what happened with you in the kitchen that night.
So I never had back pains, but my back was hurting me. And I bent over to stretch. And the Holy Spirit said to me, I want you to deal with that abortion PTSD. And I was like, wait, what? Because I wrote a song about it entitled I'm Sorry. I explained it to my children, what happened. I apologized to them. I mean, I said and did all the things. Okay. And, but my body was keeping score. And I went upstairs in my bedroom and I simply breathed. I didn't do active breath work like I facilitate with you all, but I was just breathing. And my feet said, we never bore the weight of the children you aborted. And my hips said, we never supported you. My breast said, we never got to nurture the babies you aborted. And my lips said, we never perched the forehead to caress, to give love. And it wasn't a time of condemnation for me. It was actually very freeing. And from that time to this, I've not had a back pain since because I gave space for my body to release. I didn't condemn. I didn't condemn myself. I didn't judge myself. I didn't even try to make excuses. I just simply took breaths. And I actually was thankful that my body was in protect mode, which was also causing me pain. And it's so dynamic when you think about how God has constructed the human experience. It's truly amazing, but I haven't had pain in my back or anywhere else actually since then.
Carmen, if we don't make the decisions, I feel like in your 20s and maybe even your 30s, you can sort of like forge through, blinders on, you're building your career, family, you're sort of like in the trenches, right? Trying to build something for your life. But I feel like in your 40s, there's sort of a reckoning that happens where it's like, okay, I'm seeing all these patterns in my life that I can't control, that are out of control. Maybe I have some addictions. Maybe my relationships have a lot of dead bodies behind me. Like just torn relationships. What's going on? And there's sort of like a point of decision where we can decide to sort of look at it, deal with it, or we can decide to continue shoving it down and not deal with it. What do you think as far as friendships? What are the ramifications if we decide to just shove it down and not deal with our stuff, deal with our shame, hurt, insecurity, and trouble?
For me, you can't really be in great relationships because you have to be your authentic self. And even in being your authentic self, holding on layers of what other people have put on you, that's that onion, right? Mm-hmm. And when you start peeling the onion, baby, it will
start crying.
Yes, you start crying and you be like, what in the world? And so even, you know, when you allow other people to shit on you, their ideas and opinions of you, you are holding something that doesn't belong to you. And so I think when we get to that place where we get to the I don't care club, baby, you just let it all go. And it's really, for me, a pain-free place where I can just show up, be myself, be around women who can tell me about myself in love, and I'm not offended. Like you could just bawl me out and I'd be like, okay, you know what I mean? And call me the next minute and we can pick it up. If I say something or you say something to me, we can say how it offended us, but we keep it moving. Like when you start taking off this shame, hurt, insecurity, and trouble, it's just freeing.
Well, you talk about the four, what is it?
The 4 agreements.
The 4 agreements. And one of them is not to take anything personally. And I feel like if you're carrying around a bunch of baggage and old hurt, wounds, insecurities, you pretty much always take everything personally.
Always.
Which really creates it makes for difficult relationships. If you're easily offended, if everything upsets you, if someone's got to keep you fixed all the time, it's exhausting to be in a relationship with someone like that. So I think the ramifications are huge for women who don't take the time to really self-reflect or even like self-care. Like, you know, I mean, that's a big buzzword today, but like, I think you can tell a lot about a woman by the way that she treats herself, correct? And the way she talks about herself?
Absolutely. And I want to say this because we'll go get a massage, right? And a massage will not build weights, will not build muscles, right? Only you lifting weights. So it's several different types of self-care.
It's not just the relaxation.
Yes,
part.
and somebody else doing something for you to make you feel good. You have to learn how to make yourself feel good. You have to do the self-talk, right? For me, breath work is important. You have to actually lift weights. And what I'm learning now from Dr. Stacy Sims, for bone density, you got to jump. You know, we've been told as shit piles on through our lives, you get a little bit more fearful. That's why at 40, you like, I'm tired of this. It becomes weighty then. And you get tired of carrying all this. So like, I had this image when I started listening to Dr. Stacy. I couldn't see myself getting off the back of a pickup truck, right? And in real life, I'm trying to find a way to hold on to something and ease my way down so I don't fall. But those are fears that have been instilled in us that are not true. Because now I can jump off this third step of my apartment building because I'm learning to jump again. I'm learning to free myself, build bone density. But baby, if I just ask somebody to continue to massage me to make me feel good, that doesn't work. You actually have to do the work yourself.
We've kind of like grouped self-care into all the things that help us like relax and unwind. Like for me, I know if I'm stressed, sometimes a good workout is really what I need to feel better. So that is a great point. And there is effort involved.
Absolutely.
There's effort involved in healing. Even if it's just active breath work, which actually is pretty...
It's intense.
It's pretty effortful.
Look, the Bible says you must work to enter into my rest. And that's what I think breath work is. It is work because for me, every time I've done active breath work, I sleep at my best after breath work. Now, sometimes the visions and the dreams after breath work are a lot.
Yeah.
And for me, even creativity. I write music. I'm getting ready to go do some breath work so I can start writing again.
You know, the people that I tend to attract people in my life who are creatives because that's something that's really important to me. Is that something that you think does creativity become, that's another thing I feel like as we get older, one of the narratives is like, well, I don't have time or I don't have the energy to be creative because, you know, I have work and I have a family and maybe my parents are aging and maybe I've got health conditions. And so like gradually we just sort of edge out those areas, those pockets that bring us so much joy. How important do you think creativity is as we kind of get into the midlife years?
I love because that that too is a way the body releases. I often say, for real, if you want to know what God is doing in the earth, look at his creatives in the earth. People who do art, people who sing, because that's the heart of God. And that too is a release. Most people don't look at it like that, but art is a release, and it shows the mind and heart of God in a moment.
I know I'm not a painter, but I love when on the occasion that I do get to paint, I'm just always amazed at how incredibly relaxing it is just to use my hands. Even if, even if the outcome isn't beautiful. If I can put the judgment on the shelf, then I really enjoy it. And if I don't sit next to Ian, who actually makes the painting actually really beautiful, then it's even better.
Okay. Do you remember when we at the Luminaries and everybody was painting
Someone else's face?
Yes. That was so funny.
It was fun.
No one. I looked a hot mess the way Tamala created me, but it was beautiful though. And it was funny. No one took it personal. You know what I mean? It was just a beautiful time.
So you just recently moved down here because of the friendships that you've made down here. You have a lot to say about our culture and how divided it is, and how sometimes it's sort of on purpose to make us divided.
Absolutely.
Talk to me a little bit about how important it is to not just be friends with people that are exactly like you.
So my belief system is very different. And I think that it was planned for cultures to be divided because it allows us to stay distracted while others in politics or our government to do other things because we're so distracted about the way we look or perceived enhancements for other people. That's never been my story. I have always had cultures in my life. I didn't grow up thinking that white people didn't like me, or I didn't grow up experiencing racism. The one time that I had experienced racism, I just thought he was just ignorant and he didn't know me. And not to know me is, I'm sorry, but
you're missing out.
missing out. And so when I think about not having Becky and all the other women who don't look like me as far as skin color, my life would be so dense. But with them, I have contrast and expansion, so much color in my life. I actually cannot imagine my life without you, especially here. I moved from Washington, D.C. down to Savannah, Georgia to be with my white friend.
And some of your black friends were like, what are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I probably have white friends that don't have black friends, and you have black friends that don't have white friends. It's crazy in the year 2026 that that's still a reality.
It is.
But it is. And I think part of it is just human nature to sort of gravitate to people that are like us. But what incredible gifts we're missing out on when we don't really engage people that are different than us.
Absolutely.
And I know it's a big deal for you. And for me, it's a big deal.
Yeah. I'm very, very intentional though with it. I used to go to a church that was very, very diverse. I didn't have that problem. I've never had that problem. Even as a singer, when I had my concerts, diversity followed me. But I again, it's intentional. Even when we go out, right? She's a beautiful white woman and I'm a beautiful black girl. But, history would say, or what I've seen in my culture is, well, you should be paying for my meal, right? I hate that. I really do.
Oh, I should pay for your meal?
Yeah, you should pay for my meal.
I'm glad I didn't know that.
But we have this thing now, and I know this podcast is probably going to upset some people, but I don't want you to be upset. I want you to take a breath, and I want you to breathe, because what happened years ago is not your fault. And I don't think that you look at me through a lens of I'm less than. I have never felt that. or that you deserve more because you're white and I'm black.
But it's all
but there's
love.
trauma. There's trauma, and again, I think that's why more healing is needed, because we can not even realize it, pick up the wounds of our parents and grandparents.
Exactly.
And we can carry them forward, not realizing that, wait a second, this never happened to me. But yet I'm still carrying it.
Yeah.
What does your daughter say about the leaf? The tree?
My daughter Tiffany, she said, Ma, that God told her, asked her this question: have you ever seen a tree pick up a leaf that has fallen? And she was like, no, I haven't. And what happens is the leaf will blow away, but eventually it goes back into the ground. Eventually.
But how often do we sort of pick up the dead leaves and sort of put them in our pockets?
Don't we?
Like, this is a part of me, and I don't want to let it go because it's sort of defining me. It's giving me identity. We've talked about that too. Like, I think a lot of this racial stuff is related to identity, a human need for identity. But I'm so thankful that you're not afraid to speak out on these issues, and I know the way you live is an example to so many that, like the fact that, again, that you would move to a place, and even, like the breath work. I mean, you're coming into a very kind of church traditional area with something that a lot of people think is woo-woo or
demonic.
Yeah. And
all the things.
So I just feel like, your life, you live the messages that you speak. You have integrity in that way. So yeah.
One of my other girlfriends the other day told me, she was like, you're the first black woman that I've really had a friendship with, one that I can call my sister. She was like, it's not that I didn't want it. No one ever
offered.
Yeah. And I was like, girl, well, here I is. No, but I just love people, and I really want to see God in all of his disguises. Whether you are Mexican, Hispanic, or Asian, European, I don't care. I just get to see God in all of his beautiful disguises, and it's beautiful.
And there's so much to learn. We can learn from everybody. We can learn from everybody that we meet if we're just open to it.
Have the discussions without getting mad, because you have found freedom to ask me questions, and even though I was with a group of ladies and they didn't understand, they was like, well, what is it like to be around, white people or Jewish people? I was like, they are women. Nothing separates me from you. Nothing. We both have eyes to see, a nose to smell. Like, the color of your skin does not separate you from me. We are one. We breathe the same air. We go pee. You know what I mean? We use the bathroom. We put out pants. What separates you from me?
We love our families.
We love our families. What separates you from me? Nothing. I don't think you had more privilege than I. We both bust our ass and work. I've been married. You're married. What's the difference? Tell me, honestly. I really want to know. Let's pick it right there. I
don't know. I feel like some people would say, well, there's some cultural differences, and maybe there are, but at the end of the day, like you said, we're both human. We're both women. So much of our experience, 99% of our experience is probably very, very similar. And
I think it's just the atmosphere that people are raised in, because I do have another white sister, and she is my sister, okay? Tammy. She was raised around black people. To hear her, she sounds like it. You know what I mean? But to see her, you be like, okay, but she's still my sister. You know what I mean? So it's all about where you were raised. You didn't have a choice in the matter. I didn't have a choice in the matter. But I'm going to make the most out of all of my relationships. And I'm not going to pick on you or think that you owe me something. You owe me nothing but to love me.
I just see the way you treat people. We were at a play last weekend, and Carmen said to the lady next to her, hey, beautiful. She calls everybody beautiful. Hey, beautiful, how are you doing? And the lady looked at her and said, I've never been called beautiful once in my whole life.
Yeah, she was shocked.
And her husband was next to her. He got upset.
You got upset.
And he said, I called you beautiful.
And she was like, no, you haven't. I was like, well, I'm agreeing with God in this moment. And I kept calling her and I kept reinforcing it for her. And I think if we see everyone as God in the earth, we actually get to remind them. For me, I get to remind people who they truly are. And if that takes seed and root, we could really change the world. This girl, it just flows out of her, and she is such a phenomenal woman.
Oh.
Like, even to do this podcast, and I've been begging for this voice for a minute because she is phenomenal, but me calling her phenomenal doesn't take away anything from myself.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I think those are the kind of friends that we need to look for. Are friends that they're not overshadowed by our success. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal because women can be super catty and jealous and competitive, comparing. So I think that's really important, is that the friends that you have around you actually truly want to see you succeed, live up to your potential, not shrink back, not, and I've always felt that from you. Like, I've always felt like, come on, it's kind of a encouraging mother voice. I mean, our friends are so many things to us, aren't they?
But don't get it twisted, because some of the songs you done wrote, I was like, Daddy, you couldn't get that to me because she ain't doing nothing with it. But
no, I know. Look, I'm not saying that we can't all have a jealous moment, because I've certainly had them with you too. We can have those jealous moments. It's okay. But I think at the end of the day, we encourage each other, we love each other, we respect each other. We hopefully inspire each other to use the gifts that we have while we're here on earth, to use them and to live out our purpose, whatever that is.
You know what else is funny? All of you all are married. I'm the single one in the bunch. You all have never made me feel like I wasn't wanted because I'm single. Never one time. You all have always included me, and all of them are just beautiful people. Not to say I believe that everyone is perfect because we're made in the image of God. Do we have flaws? Absolutely. But none of them, even when you and Ian might be going through. I'm not mad at Ian because you're mad at Ian. But I think it's an honoring. Like, again, I don't expect you to do anything for me because I'm black and you're white. I don't expect for you to pay recompense. What's that word? Reparations. You don't owe me anything. If you love me, and I know that you do, I'm whole. I'm complete right there. And I'm happy. You know what I mean? And I wish that we could sever the cord of division and just accept people where they are. And if something is wrong, I pray that the eyes of your understanding be enlightened, that you may know the fullness of who you are in Christ Jesus. And that's it for me. And that's how I place all my friendships, because I love very hard and very intently.
You do. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll let you know in the notes for the podcast how to grab a copy of Carmen's book, Shipwreck. Throw that SHIT overboard. It's an amazing read. It packs a powerful punch. Don't miss really enjoying her, not just her story, but her message, which I think is so powerful for everyone. Yes, Carmen, what is it?
Okay.
My book was very thick, and I wanted everything in that book. Becky is the CEO of Marigold Press Books, and she kept telling me no. And I'm really glad you held on to that, because I was trying to bully your ass, and you was like, I'm not thinking about you, heifer. And she cut the book down, and it is better for
it. It is great. It's a great book. She had about 3 books in one, but we got the one out of it that needed to be there for now. And there's a workbook too, and it's really not just for women. You wrote it with women in mind, but so many men have been impacted by it.
Absolutely.
Which has been amazing. So yeah, definitely grab a copy of her book, her workbook, and her music. Oh my gosh, her music. How many CDs? You have 4 albums?
No, I have 3 and
3
one
albums.
in the working.
Okay. She's 3 albums. You can find her on Apple Music, Spotify. She's all over online stuff. And Breathwork. Please check out Breathwork 360. You can book an individual appointment with her, or she has group classes that are more affordable if that's an issue. But don't miss out on each. She does it through Zoom. So no matter where you're listening to this in the world, you can benefit from breath work, which again has been hugely transformational in my own life and in so many lives. So yeah, please inquire about that if you're interested. Carmen, thank you so much for kicking off Rewriting Midlife. And let's toast one more time to the beginning of something beautiful. I love you, friend.
I love you too, Sissy.